If you're over 60 and you've tried every cream, serum, massage, and miracle gadget, but your wrinkles still show up louder than ever, then you need to hear this, because Japan's oldest doctor, yes, the man who has treated patients for over 7 decades, says that almost everything we do to fix wrinkles is completely wrong. And he believes there is only one real way to eliminate wrinkles for good, no matter your age. In fact, he says this method works better after 60 because your skin becomes more responsive when you stimulate it the right way. So if you want to soften deep lines, tighten loose skin, and restore that natural glow you used to have, stay with me, because I'm about to share something completely different from anything you've ever heard about anti-aging. But most people believe wrinkles appear simply because they're getting older, but according to the philosophy behind this script, wrinkles are far more connected to how your facial muscles behave than how many birthdays you've had. Over time, the muscles of the face begin to fall into repetitive patterns, some tighten and shorten because of stress, frowning, or unconscious tension, while others weaken from underuse, especially around the cheeks, jawline, and mouth. These imbalances create folds, creases, and sagging that show up on the surface as wrinkles. What looks like aging skin is often the result of muscles underneath that have stopped supporting the skin properly. Imagine the skin as a sheet and the muscles as the frame holding it up. When the frame weakens or collapses, the sheet naturally wrinkles. This means wrinkles aren't simply an inevitable part of aging, but a visible sign that the deeper layers of the face are not functioning optimally. Poor posture adds another layer to the problem. When the head leans forward from looking at phones or computers, it changes the natural tension of the neck and lower face. The jaw drops slightly, the mouth area collapses inward, and the cheeks begin to flatten downward. This downward pull accumulates year after year, deepening lines around the mouth, chin, and neck far beyond what age alone would ever produce. Even the forehead and eye area are affected. Constantly raising the eyebrows, squinting, or tightening the forehead muscles creates grooves that eventually become permanent because those expressions are repeated thousands of times. These are not wrinkles caused by time, they're caused by habit. Circulation plays a major role as well. As people get older, blood flow to the face decreases, not because the body stops producing it, but because the muscles that help move blood upward become less active. When muscles stagnate, blood stagnates too. Poor circulation means less oxygen, less collagen production, and slower repair of damage. The skin becomes drier, thinner, and more easily creased. Many people blame this on age, but it is actually linked to inactivity in the facial muscles and the reduced movement of the tissues underneath. When you restore circulation through targeted facial activation, the skin often becomes plumper and more radiant within days, which shows how responsive the face still is even after 60. Another overlooked source is unconscious facial tension. Stress, worry, and poor breathing habits can cause people to hold tension in the jaw, forehead, or around the eyes without realizing it. This tension locks wrinkles in place by keeping the muscles contracted for long periods. Over time, the skin molds itself to those tight patterns. When people learn to relax these muscles and breathe in a calmer, deeper rhythm, the face softens, the lines reduce, and the muscles begin working in a more balanced way again. All of this means that wrinkles are not a fixed result of aging. They are signs of patterns in the muscles, posture, and blood flow that can be changed and improved at any age, even well past 60. Dr. Hinohara's perspective challenges almost everything people have been taught about anti-aging. Instead of relying on creams, lasers, or injections, he believed the true solution for eliminating wrinkles lies in the muscles beneath the skin. According to him, the skin is only the outer layer of the story. When muscles weaken, shrink, or lose their natural tension, the skin has nothing firm to rest on, so it folds and collapses. That collapse becomes the wrinkles people try so desperately to treat on the surface. But treating the surface is like trying to smooth a bedsheet while ignoring the broken frame underneath. The moment the muscle support is restored, the skin naturally begins to smooth out, tighten, and lift, because it once again has structure beneath it. This is why he emphasized that creams may hydrate the surface, but they cannot rebuild what's missing underneath. Throughout his decades of medical work, he noticed that older individuals still had incredibly responsive facial muscles. Even at 60, 70, or 90, the muscles could be strengthened awakened, or relaxed to the point that their faces visibly transformed. He observed that when patients consistently activated the right areas, their cheeks lifted, their jawlines tightened, and their lines around the mouth and eyes softened. The improvements happened not because of age reversal, but because the muscles regained function. These results convinced him that the only lasting method to eliminate wrinkles is one that worked directly with the body's natural structure instead of trying to force changes from the outside. Japan has a long tradition of facial longevity practices, and Dr. Hinohara believed these practices succeeded because they focused on stimulation, circulation, and balance. When muscles become dormant from decades of expression habits, like frowning, squinting, or pulling the mouth downward, they create permanent grooves that creams simply cannot erase. But when those muscles are retrained, even gently, they start to reorganize the way the face sits. He often described facial muscles as sleeping roots. Even if a plant looks wilted, watering the roots brings it back to life. In the same way, stimulating the deeper structures of the face brings back volume, firmness, and vitality. Dr. Hinohara also emphasized the importance of upward movement. Most of the expressions people repeat throughout the day involve downward tension, tight jaws, pursed lips, drooping cheeks, tense neck muscles. These downward habits eventually shape the entire face, so his method reversed that pattern by teaching the muscles to lift instead of collapse. Even small, intentional upward motions send new signals to the brain, helping reprogram the muscle memory of the face. This explains why so many elders who practiced his techniques looked lifted without undergoing any procedures. Their muscles had learned a new natural resting position that supported the skin more effectively. He believed that after 60, the body actually responds better to stimulation because blood flow, oxygenation, and cellular repair can increase dramatically when the right facial muscles are engaged. This is why older patients often reported rapid improvements. They weren't fighting against age. They were activating systems that had been idle. His lifelong research led him to a simple conclusion. Long-term wrinkle elimination is a matter of restoring function, not chasing products. When the muscles regain strength and balance, the wrinkles lose their foundation, and when the foundation changes, the skin inevitably follows. The idea behind these simple daily techniques is that most people rarely use the full range of their facial muscles, especially after the age of 60. Over time, the muscles around the cheeks, jawline, and mouth grow weak because we stop expressing ourselves as fully as we used to. At the same time, the smaller tension muscles around the forehead and eyes become overactive, pulling the skin downward and deepening lines. The exercises Dr. Hinohara recommended work because they reawaken the forgotten muscles and calm the ones that are constantly overworking. When the right muscles turn on again, the entire face begins to lift naturally. What's remarkable is that these methods do not require special tools, long routines, or strenuous effort. They rely on gentle, intentional movements that target the root cause of facial aging rather than the surface appearance. The 30-second facial awakening is one of the simplest yet most transformative methods. By placing the fingers lightly along the cheekbones and gliding upward, you're not just moving the skin, you're stimulating the muscles and fascia underneath. This encourages circulation to flow upward, bringing oxygen and nutrients to areas that have been undernourished for years. With just a few seconds of upward movement, the tissues begin to warm, the face feels more alive, and the muscles start waking up. Most people notice that after a few days, their cheeks feel tighter and their skin looks fresher. This happens because circulation revitalizes the skin from within and the muscles remember how to hold the face up rather than let it sag. The Japanese O-smile exercise directly targets the midface, the area responsible for cheek lift and nasolabial folds. When you make the gentle O shape and lift the corners of the mouth, you activate muscles that rarely get used in daily life. These are the smile-supporting muscles that give the face a youthful, rounded appearance. As these muscles strengthen, the cheeks naturally rise, the lines are out, the mouth soften, and the lower face begins to look more sculpted. The exercise also helps restore balance between the overused frown muscles and the underused lift muscles, creating a more relaxed and open expression. With consistency, the face begins to settle into a more elevated shape, even at rest, reducing the appearance of wrinkles without any forced effort. Tongue posture may seem unrelated at first, but it plays a crucial role in the structure of the lower face. When the tongue rests low in the mouth, effect encourages the jaw to slack, the chin to relax downward, and the skin under the jawline to loosen. This drooping effect spreads upward, pulling the cheeks and mouth area down with it. Pressing the tongue to the roof of the mouth strengthens the internal support system of the face. It lifts the jawline subtly, engages deep facial muscles, and creates a natural upward tension throughout the mid and lower face. Many people who adopt this habit notice that their double chin reduces, their jawline sharpens, and the sagging around the mouth begins to fade. It's a passive lift that works simply by becoming part of your everyday posture. The magic of these techniques is their simplicity. They don't require hours of work. They can be done while watching TV, before bed, or during your morning routine. Yet, they influence some of the most important aspects of facial aging: circulation, muscle activation, and structural support. When practiced consistently, the changes accumulate. The muscles become firmer, the skin becomes smoother, and the expressions soften. The methods work not because they fight aging, but because they restore the natural functions your face was always meant to have. Breathing is one of the most automatic things the body does, yet it has a powerful influence on the way your face ages, especially after 60. Most people don't realize that the tension patterns created by shallow or mouth breathing can actually shape the face over time. When you breathe shallowly, your nervous system remains in a mild state of stress, and that stress shows up in your facial muscles first. The forehead tightens, the jaw clenches, the area around the eyes contracts, and the mouth pulls downward. These small tensions become habitual, forming deeper lines and wrinkles because the muscles are constantly held in contraction. The face rarely gets a chance to relax, soften, or release this built-up tension, which creates a look of fatigue even when you feel rested. Mouth breathing is even more impactful. When the mouth is slightly open during breathing, the jaw tends to slack forward, the tongue sits low, and the muscles of the lower face weaken. This creates a chain reaction. The chin softens, the jawline loses definition, and the skin around the neck begins to droop. Over time, gravity pulls the weakened muscles further downward, which lead to sagging skin and deepening lines, especially around the mouth and jowls. Many older adults think this is simply a natural part of aging, but often it's an accumulation of years of poor breathing habits. When the mouth stays open, even slightly, the facial muscles forget their natural lifted posture, and wrinkles develop because the face spends hours each day in a collapsed position. Nasal breathing completely changes this pattern. When you breathe through your nose, the muscles of the face naturally relax into a more supportive alignment. The jaw stays closed, the tongue rises to the roof of the mouth, and the cheeks maintain a lifted shape without any effort. Nasal breathing also encourages deeper breaths, which help activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of the body responsible for calmness and relaxation. When the nervous system is calm, the facial muscles loosen instead of gripping tightly. The forehead softens, the eyes widen gently, and the mouth relaxes upward instead of downward. This relaxed, lifted state reduces the formation of tight lines and allows the skin to receive better blood flow. Better oxygenation is another major benefit. Deep nasal breaths pull more oxygen into the body, and oxygen is essential for collagen production, skin repair, and overall cell health. When the skin receives more oxygen, it becomes more resilient, hydrated, and elastic. Many people notice that their face looks brighter and smoother after even a short period of practicing deeper nasal breathing. This is not a coincidence, it's circulation. With more oxygen moving through the system, the skin regenerates faster, inflammation decreases, and fine lines begin to fade naturally. It's one of the simplest yet most powerful anti-aging tools available because it works from the inside out. Gentle breathing exercises can also release long-held tension in the jaw and neck, two areas that contribute heavily to the appearance of aging. When these areas are tight, they pull the face downward, deepening wrinkles and creating a tired expression. But when breathing becomes softer and deeper, the entire facial structure becomes lighter. The muscles stop working overtime. The lines formed by tension begin to smooth out, and the face starts reflecting a calmer, more youthful energy. By paying attention to breathing habits and shifting from shallow mouth breathing to slower, deeper nasal breathing, older adults can dramatically change the way their face looks and feels. The skin becomes better nourished, the muscles regain balance, and the expressions become more open and relaxed. Even though it seems like such a simple action, breathing correctly is one of the most underrated ways to soften wrinkles, reduce facial stress, and bring new life to the skin without any products, tools, or procedures. One of the biggest lessons Dr. Hinohara emphasized is that what you put into your body shows up on your face. Especially after 60. The skin becomes a reflection of internal hydration, nutrition, and cellular health. Many people try to fix wrinkles by applying creams and serums, but they often overlook the foods and habits that actually support the skin from within. In Japan, elders have long relied on warm, water-rich meals that nourish the body gently and steadily. These foods don't shock the digestive system or create inflammation. Instead, they hydrate, soothe, and support the tissues that keep the skin elastic and full. When the body is consistently nourished with the right kinds of foods, the skin doesn't dry out as easily, the texture becomes smoother, and fine lines can soften because the deeper layers are no longer depleted. Warm foods like soups, broths, steamed vegetables, and lightly cooked fish are easier for the body to process. After 60, digestion naturally becomes slower, and heavy meals require more energy to break down. When the digestive system struggles, the body diverts energy away from skin repair. This means the skin can become dull, tired, or lined simply because the body is overworked internally. But when meals are gentle and warm, the nutrients are absorbed more efficiently and more energy can go toward regeneration. The moisture from these foods also helps hydrate the body from the inside, supporting the plumpness of the skin. Hydrated skin doesn't crease as easily and it bounces back more quickly from facial expressions, preventing lines from becoming permanent. Foods like tofu, seaweed, sweet potatoes, and green vegetables are staples in the traditional Japanese diet. These foods are naturally rich in minerals, antioxidants, and collagen-supporting compounds. Seaweed, for example, contains iodine and polysaccharides that help maintain skin elasticity and moisture balance. Sweet potatoes contain beta-carotene, which converts to vitamin A in the body and supports skin cell turnover. Even something as simple as miso soup can deliver probiotics that support gut health, which directly affects how well the skin heals and how radiant it looks. When the gut is balanced, inflammation decreases throughout the body, including the skin. This reduces puffiness, redness, and the breakdown of collagen that leads to deeper wrinkles. Another important principle is avoiding foods that dehydrate the skin. Excessive sugar, processed snacks, and very salty meals draw moisture out of the tissues. When the skin loses hydration, it becomes thinner and more prone to wrinkling. By contrast, foods that naturally hold water help replenish the cells. Cucumbers, melons, citrus fruits, and leafy greens all have high water content and deliver hydration along with vitamins. When older individuals eat these regularly, their skin often looks fuller and more elastic within weeks. It's not magic, it's simply giving the cells what they need to stay healthy. Japanese elders also drink warm teas throughout the day rather than cold beverages. Warm liquids support circulation and digestion, helping nutrients reach the skin more effectively. Green tea, barley tea, and ginger tea are especially popular for their antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. These teas help protect collagen from damage and improve blood flow, giving the skin a natural glow. When circulation improves, the skin receives more oxygen and nutrients, which allows it to repair itself more quickly and maintain a smoother texture. The overall effect of these habits is that the skin ages more gracefully. Instead of fighting wrinkles from the outside, the body supports the skin from deep within. When the tissues are nourished, hydrated, and calm, the skin becomes resilient. The lines soften, the color brightens, and the face develops the kind of healthy vitality that no cream can replicate.